guys, today I'm going to do a video about my top 5 favorite pens that I use for planning and journaling. The first 3 pens are pretty much what I exclusively use for planning, and the last 2 pens are 2 of my favorite pens that I use for journaling. My favorite pens list used to be a lot more fluid, but as I have kind of settled into the planners that I'm most comfortable using and the journals that I like to use the most, my list has definitely whittled down and become a little bit more stable. So I finally feel like I am able to confidently talk about some of my top 5 favorite pens. I used to pretty much exclusively use this Pilot G2 pen, usually in the 0.07 size, sometimes in the 0.05 size. And it's still one of my favorite pens because I love the smoothness of the ink, the bold black color on the paper, because I am hashtag team black ink, not team blue ink. And it's definitely one of my favorite pens, but the dry time on the gel in this is a little bit too long, especially if I'm writing in my Hobonichi on the Tomoe River paper, which it's beautiful, gorgeous, fantastic, magical unicorn paper to write on, but it does require a little bit extra drying time. So if you're using a pen like this, a lot of times you can run into smearing issues. I did try the Sharpie S-Gel gel pen, which I have been really happy with how this dries and allows you to highlight over it. I'm going to be trying this out a little bit more and investigating it a little bit more before I talk about it as being one of my favorites. But this pen right here, if you haven't tried out the Sharpie S-Gel, this is another great gel pen to try out if you just want like a single barrel pen. But I started using Mildliners more and more in my Hobonichi when I was using that more often, and I was finding, like I said, a lot of smearing issues, and so I decided to start investigating a pen that had ink that wouldn't smear, and that kind of led me to the Uni multi-pen that comes with the Hobonichi planners every year. It's a 3-barrel pen and it has black, blue, and red ink in it. They're all in the 0.05 size barrel, which is a little bit too small for me. American and European 0.05 or fine tip pens are fine for my handwriting. Japanese pens tend to be, in their fountain pens and in their regular pens, tend to be a little bit more fine than American or European sizes. So 0.05 in the Hobonichi pen was a little bit too fine for me, but I heard great things about the Uni Jetstream ink, and I had actually used that ink in one of my Pen Gems pens years ago, so I was familiar with it. I didn't really, I was still using the G2 pens pretty much exclusively, so I didn't really go too much into it, but I decided to look into the Uni Jetstream system of pens, and that's how I got into my very first favorite pen that I'm going to talk about. So I'm gonna get these out of the way and talk about my #1 favorite pen that I have been using for just about a year now in my planner. So this is the Uni Style Fit 4-barrel pen. This comes in different sizes. There is you can get just a single ink barrel version. I think I'm not sure if there's 2 barrels, but there's 3. So there's 1, there's 3, there's 4, and there's 5 options. And then they also have, this is same company, but a little bit different line of pen that offers multiple barrels. The size of refill for this is different than this. Same kind of ink inside though. So this is also from Uni. This is their Totoro pen that I absolutely love. It's so cute. But this one actually has a little cap that pops off, and you can store an eraser in here because one of the barrels that you can insert in these pens is a mechanical pencil option. So this one I use quite a bit, but my most favorite is this Donald Duck one that I have been using for about a year now. But I have 4 barrels in here. This one doesn't have an eraser on top, so I usually just keep an eraser, and it's a eraser whiteout combo in my pencil pouch, which if you guys would like to see a tour of my pencil pouch, I can do that as well. Just leave me a comment down below. So my favorite pen from the UniStyle line is the 4-barrel UniStyle pen. This has Donald Duck on it, but you can get all different characters, all different colors. You can get plain colors, you can get cute like Disney stuff on it, but these are sold on Jet Pens and Tokyo Pen Shop. I believe I got this barrel at the Tokyo Pen Shop website, which I will link all of the websites that I talk about down below. Like I said, the Hobonichi comes with this one, but the 0.05 was just a little bit too small for me, so I tried the 0.5 was too small. I tried the 0.7 and the 1.0. and those were much more comfortable for me to write with. Like I said before, Japanese pen sizes tend to run a little bit smaller than American or European sizes, so just keep that in mind when you're ordering different pen or nib sizes. This one includes my 4 most used ink barrels. I had moved away from using ballpoint pens years ago in favor of the G2 gel pen because I just liked the way that it wrote so much better. But the Uni brand, the Uni Jetstream brand ink has definitely made me fall in love with ballpoint ink. It is a special formula ballpoint ink that writes so smoothly. It feels like you're writing with a gel pen, but it dries immediately and you can highlight over the top of it. And that's how I got into it, was because I was using Mildliners more often, and it was smearing all over my gel pens. But so the Uni Jetstream style ink dries right away. You can highlight over it right away, but it feels like you're writing with a gel pen, and it looks like you're writing with a gel pen. The ink is really bold and smooth. It doesn't skip all over the place. And even their gel pen ink, which doesn't dry quite as fast, but after 24 hours, you can easily highlight over the top of that as well. So I have 2 ballpoint refills in here, 1 gel and 1 pencil. And I'll show you guys, I'm gonna take this apart and show you what those look like. I'm a big fan of things that can be refilled without having to throw the whole product away. So you can buy refills for these pens from both of those websites I talked about. I have a bunch of different colored inks in here that I can use to refill. I have my pencil refill, but I like the fact that I can reuse this pen over and over again, and when the ink is dried up or used up, I'm only throwing away a very small piece of the pen, a very small piece of plastic, instead of just throwing the whole pen away and having to start over again. I'm really trying to be mindful of the single-use plastics that we use, and so this is one small way to try to help reduce the amount of plastic that I'm throwing away. So I have a 1.0 Jetstream ballpoint, a 0.7 Jetstream ballpoint, a 0.5 gel, and this is the pencil insert. And you can actually pop this insert out and put more lead in here and pop it back in, and that is how you use the mechanical pencil portion of this. The gel pen only, this is the largest size that the gel pen comes in, is the 0.5, so their ballpoint comes in 0.7 and 1.0 as well. But like I said, the Japanese points are a little bit smaller than I'm used to, so they actually work out really well when I'm writing with them. The 1.0 is nice and bold, but it's not too big, and the 0.7 is pretty much my sweet spot. So this is my favorite pen for using in my planner. It works on regular printer paper, it works on Hobonichi paper, and dries immediately when I'm using those ballpoint options. So I can write over it, I can highlight over it, it doesn't smear, it's fantastic. I really, really, really like this pen. The next set of pens that I pretty much have on me at all times and use almost daily are Mildliners. This is just my bag of Mildliners, and I have most of the colors, at least the colors that I use most often. So my planner, I tend to use like a monthly color scheme. And so what I will do in my pencil pouch, I will keep the current month's color in there and then the following month's color in there, and just rotate that out every month. So right now we're in the middle of November, so that's kind of this blue cornflower color that I'm using. And then I also had, I had the green. Oh yeah, so I had the green in there as well. And I might actually stick the red one in my pencil pouch because Christmas in December, red and green. So I just keep 2 Mildliners that coordinate with the monthly color that I'm in the middle of the month. You can get Mildliners on Jet Pens, Tokyo Pen Shop, Amazon, and you can actually get these in Michaels in the store. They have a whole section of it, at least my Michaels did. But like I said, these are the reason I had to go searching for a whole different type of pen, because I loved the mild color of the Mildliners when I'm highlighting in my planner. It just looks really nice. It's not like bright neon color highlighters. It's just a nice subtle wash of color to draw your eye to something that's important. If I don't have a sticker, I will use these to highlight something that needs to catch my attention. I also use them to block off important information in my planner. I'll see if I can grab in my planner and show you. Here's an example of using the Mildliners in my planner. I use them in lieu of washi tape, so I just used it to draw a line to notate Shark Week. I had a DMV appointment here and a military ID replacement appointment here, and I didn't have a sticker or didn't want to use a sticker for whatever reason, just wanted to write it in there. And then I highlighted it with the Mildliner and it looked really nice, but they're really a light wash of color. Like I said, they're not like your typical fluorescent color looking highlighters, though they're just a nice addition, subtle addition to my planner. I like using those quite a bit. So Mildliners are definitely a part of my planning system. And the cool thing is they have a chisel tip on one side and they have a like a marker tip on the other side. So you can actually use these to write with as well, like a regular pen, like a regular marker. The next set of pens that I use all the time are from Erin Condren. I bought these on a whim. I really didn't think that I needed to have a colorful set of markers in my stash, but you know, do I really need 90% of the pens that I have in my stash? No, but I wanted to try these out. And I'm really glad that I did because they, like the Mildliners, have two different sides. So they have a bold tip on this side and a fine tip on this side. And same way with the Mildliners, I just keep, you know, the current month and the following month's monthly colors in my pencil pouch and use them for writing in my planner. I'll show you how I use them in my planner here. So the inserts that I use in my planner are undated when I print them out. And so I like to use the Erin Condren bold side of the marker to write in the dates in the monthly color. So for example, this is December, so I have like a forest pine green that I use to write in the dates. And then I will also use the markers to, if I have an important appointment, I will use the bold side to write it. Or if I'm just looking for a way to highlight something in a cute way in my planner, I can use the bold or the fine side, and it changes the color from black ink to something else that will hopefully catch my eye. If I don't have a sticker, or if I don't, you know, want to use a sticker or whatever, I can just use that to highlight something important in my planner. You can get these pens on Erin Condren's website or on Amazon. I actually have an Amazon storefront now, so I have been starting to link some of my favorite planner supplies in my Amazon storefront. So if you want to check that out, you can see a lot of my favorite supplies that I use, both for my nails, for my planners, for stuff around the house. So definitely check that link out down below. So as far as planning goes, these three types of pens are my top three must-have with me pens that are in my pencil pouch or in my purse, or this one's stuck in my planner in a pen loop, so this one's definitely with me at all times. But these three pens are my necessities for planning. These next two pens that I'm going to talk about are the perfect segue to lead into today's sponsor, which is Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community built to help you unleash your creative potential. New classes are constantly being added, so if you want to learn something new or brush up on an old skill, this is the place to do it. If you're anything like me, I love the concept of creativity, but I often find myself overwhelmed and unsure of where to start. Skillshare classes break down their workshops into smaller, more manageable lessons that I can watch whenever I have a free moment. I just added a new workshop to my saved class list, and it's all about using journaling as a method of self-care.
Writing allows you to discern and begin to create space for what it is that you want, that brings you the joy, that helps you grow, that helps you to move forward. Really, it's about us owning our self-healing, owning our self-care, and making it a priority for ourselves. Hi, I'm Yasmin Cheyenne, and I'm an advocate for self-healing, and today's course is about cultivating self-care through writing.
I'm really trying to focus on the many things in my life that I'm grateful for, and this class highlights 6 different writing prompts for personal gratitude and growth. I love that the instructor offers creative ways to encourage my writing on the days that I feel like I just have nothing to say. These classes are curated for learning, so there's no ads, and at less than $10 a month for an annual subscription, this tool can fit any budget. The first 1,000 people to click the link in the description box below will get a free trial of a Skillshare Premium membership. If you guys have been watching my videos for any amount of time, you know that I only recommend stuff that I personally use and love, and Skillshare is no exception. I would like to do a video at some point about the fountain pens that I currently own, how I got into it, why I chose the pens that I chose, maybe even do a tour of my crazy stash of fountain pen ink. This is all different colors of fountain pen ink. I have probably close to 200 samples of colors in here, go through my swatch cards, and show you guys this obsession that I have. But two of my favorite fountain pens would definitely have to be these two guys right here. The first pen I'm going to talk about is a Lamy Al-Star, and this is the Lamy Al-Star Blue Green. I purchased this on gouletpens.com, which I will link down below. I think I got this one probably 6 years ago now, and they do come out with limited edition colors, and so if you see a color that you like, I would definitely recommend snagging it right away because they go out of stock, they change the colors that they offer. So this one, my favorite color is turquoise, and so this is like a beautiful blue green. It's called the Lamy Blue Green. But this is their All-Star line, which is an aluminum body. They also have the Lamy Safari line, which is a plastic body, and these are a little bit more affordable. These start around $30, and the aluminum bodies start at, I think, $37, $37.60, I think. Yeah, $38. And this was one of my very first fountain pens that I ever purchased, and it's definitely one of my favorites. I love the Lamy's line of colors and the different range of pens that they offer. There's a pen for everybody from the Lamy brand, so you can get really, really expensive ones or really affordable ones like this. Again, I love using fountain pens because they are refillable. You don't have to throw them away when you're done using them. You just put more ink in them, or if a part breaks, you can usually replace that one part of the pen without having to get rid of the whole thing. One of the really cool things about Lamy is that their pen nibs are interchangeable, so you can actually just slide this nib off and put a new nib on. They have different colored nibs, so this is their black nib. They have different sizes, so they have black and silver nibs, and they have like extra fine, fine, medium, bold, stub, etc. I have a fine on this pen right now, and I can change the look or the size of the nib whenever I want just by popping that nib off and putting a new one on, which you're not able to do on every fountain pen. I personally really love how they write. This is a steel nib. The creme de la creme of nibs are the gold nibs, and I do have one like 14 or 24 karat gold nib, and it is like writing with butter, but they're quite a bit more expensive. And I love that this is kind of like a utility pen. I'm not afraid to take this one with me. If I drop it and it lands on the nib and it breaks or bends, I can just pop out the nib and change it if it gets damaged. And the Lamy pens are really a great place to start for somebody that's just getting into fountain pens or wants to start getting into fountain pens. They're very, very versatile, very affordable, and these ones have lasted me for years, and I've had no issues with them whatsoever. You can also use the Lamys with a pre-filled cartridge that you just pop into the back of the pen here, or you can do what I do and use a refillable cartridge, and this just pops off the back. You refill this with ink and pop it back on, and you can reuse that cartridge over and over again. The last pen I'm going to talk about today is the TWSBI Eco in the white and rose gold. This was I'm not sure if this is a limited edition release. I got this on the TWSBI website like the second it released because it was so beautiful. I saw them teasing it on Instagram, and the moment I saw it, I knew I had to have it. But it is what's called a demonstrator pen, so it has a large capacity for ink right here. Almost the entire body of this pen is the ink capacity. So if you compare it to the Lamy, you can see like the ink capacity for the Lamy is about that big and it's much narrower. This entire thing is the ink capacity for this pen. So that's why this one is great for if you're going on a trip, or if you know that you are going somewhere and you don't want to take a whole bunch of ink with you. You don't really ever have to worry about this one running out of ink. I filled this up with the same ink like months ago, and I use this almost daily to write in my journal, and I am just now getting down to the end of my ink supply here. So the good thing is that you can take this with you and it's not going to run out of ink anytime soon. For me, I get impatient with my colors, and so I like to be able to switch them out all the time. So there's a good and a bad to it, but this is definitely a pen I would recommend if you're going somewhere and you just want to bring one pen with you. Like I said, this is a demonstrator pen, so I think it's really cool that you can actually see the ink on the inside of this, and it becomes really, really cool when you use like a shimmering ink and you can see like the gold flecks inside of the ink inside the body of the pen. This is a Japanese nib, and so even though my German pens, the Lamys, all have a fine nib on it, this one has a medium nib on it because, like I said before, the Japanese nibs and pen sizes tend to lean a little bit to the finer side. So to me, this writes like a fine pen, but it's actually labeled as a medium nib. This has rose gold accents on the lid and on the body of the pen, and also the nib is rose gold. I know I have seen a couple people talk about the ability to change out this nib if something were to happen to it, but this isn't built exactly the same as the Lamy, and so you don't want to be pulling this in and out all the time because you risk damaging this this plastic piece right here. So I don't really mess with that. The pen comes with a tool to remove the backside so that you can fill it up with ink properly. But I mean, this is also a really, really affordable pen. The TWSBI Eco line starts around $30, and I think I'm going to purchase one of their just plain white or clear TWSBI Eco pens to actually keep that one on me at all times. If I were to lose or drop this one, I would be really, really sad. But the Eco pens, they're only $30 for a beautiful, well-made fountain pen, and so I think I'm going to pick one of those up to use as like my travel pen. This one still hasn't left the house. But yeah, it writes beautifully, massive ink capacity, and so this is definitely one of my all-time favorite pens that I use for journaling. Okay, so those are my top 5 pens that I use for planning and journaling. I hope that video was helpful. If you guys have any questions, please leave me a comment down below. If you guys would like to see a tour of my fountain pens, or maybe even a tour of what's in my pencil pouch at all times, leave me a comment, let me know what you would like to see, and I will get that filmed and posted for you. As always, thanks for watching. Everything that I talk about in this video will be linked down in the description box below, and thank you guys for supporting my channel. I will see you later. Bye.